Go, 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 let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick, I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers.
Minato was banished from the Soul Society alongside his elder brother, Kisuke Urahara. However, when going to the human world, something happened to Minato's, during his transport. He was dropped from the sky into a mysterious village now as a younger version of himself. This is where the story of Minato Namikaze would truly continue, as he had lost most of his Shinigami and Soul Reaper powers, but he still had his Zanpakuto. Eventually, he would meet the same fate as his canon counterpart, leading to his death. When the third Hokage finds him, he makes sure to leave a very detailed and important message, and at the end of it he would say, "Give this blade to my son Naruto. Please, take care of him, and make sure that he never loses it." Minato would pass away while telling his brother that he leaves it in the hands of his son now. Naruto grows up differently here. Sure, he has access to chakra, but he also has two different powers within himself. The third Hokage also takes much better care of Naruto due to Minato's words of urgency. The third Hokage, he would have someone train Naruto in sword combat. Naruto does this until the age of 9, but he would also notice something. Oftentimes during his spar matches, the blade that he's had ever since he was a child, made strange noises that only he could hear. Naruto knew the blade was very odd, but he could never make out what was being said to him. And so from the ages of 9 to 12, Naruto is also taught chakra and how to use it. It takes him a whole year to overcome the barrier that is the Nine Tails in order to perform jutsu. However, that wasn't the only thing holding Naruto back. His Shinigami potential only grew from within his body. Naruto was one of the strongest kids in the academy, as now we see a 12-year-old Naruto sitting on top of a building while holding his blade to the sky. It's strange. Me and you talk all the time, but I can never understand you the way you want me to, that is. And I can always sense everything around me. Lord Third, Aruka, the ramen guy, all the people in the Leaf Village. I can feel their power. But why can I do this? Naruto says while standing up. Is this why the village hates me? Was I truly born different? Naruto thinks about this before vanishing off of the rooftop and heading to school. He sneaks in through the window before Aruka takes attendance, and he takes the exams to become a shinobi. He just barely fails due to not being able to perform the clone jutsu. Mizuki tells Naruto to then meet him at night for a second chance, and of course he would go. Naruto was still a child after all. It wouldn't be hard for Mizuki to convince him to steal the Scroll of Sealing, meaning Naruto learns a multi-shadow clone jutsu here as well. Mizuki arrives on the scene and demands the scroll from Naruto. After seeing hesitation in the boy's eyes, he would attack him. Naruto jumps and dodges, and he then flips onto a tree branch. Why do you want this scroll so bad? Naruto, you fool. Can't you see that I've used you? Now, once I take that scroll, it'll be used to attack the Leaf Village. Just give me that damn scroll, you demon fox. Naruto, hearing that name, explodes in rage. His Shinigami powers truly begin to flourish in this moment. Mizuki would notice that it's harder for him to stand, as he would then fall to one knee. The pressure in the surrounding area was increasing, and as Naruto walked closer to him, he felt true fear. With each step, Naruto started to understand his blade more, as it would say, grow stronger. The yellow-haired boy swings the blade and exerts some of his spiritual energy into a powerful attack that would kill Mizuki. Iruka-sensei, who watched from a distance while being forced to the ground, was astonished by Naruto's powers. After the light around Naruto's body would fade away, so did that very same pressure, as once again, his blade went into silence. Iruka walks up and tells Naruto that he saw everything, commending him for his actions, as he would then hand him a leaf headband. Naruto thanks his sensei for everything that he's done while he puts on the headband. The next day, Naruto goes to school and is assigned to Team 7 alongside Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. The three of them wait in the classroom for their sensei, and Naruto tries to speak with his blade, telepathically of course, but it doesn't work. What makes right now different from the last time you talked to me? Naruto thinks back to the moment when he was battling against Mizuki, as he then realizes it. From the other side of the classroom, Sasuke was noticing the shocked expression of Naruto, which also caused Sakura to notice this as well. Naruto then closed his eyes and tried to sense the power from within himself. He can almost feel it. Now, after a while, he could see it. But as he was going to access them, Kakashi walked into the room. This breaks Naruto's focus as he loses sight of his shinigami powers. Their sensei then tells him to meet on the rooftop of this building. Once they are up there, he formally introduces himself as Kakashi Hatsuki, their sensei. He would ask them questions about themselves so that they could get to know each other. Naruto here didn't have the goal to become the Hokage. Naruto wanted to know who he truly was, so that was his answer. Kakashi tells them where to meet up the next day and tells them to bring a lunch and to not eat breakfast. Team 7 meets up the next day, and Naruto is more focused than ever to draw out his shinigami abilities, but he doesn't know what that's called, of course. Kakashi arrives and explains the bell test to them. Immediately, Naruto rushes in and tries to catch him off guard. Kakashi is able to block each of his attacks and even counter, pushing him off. Naruto flips away, sensing chakra coming, as he then sees a fireball heading towards Kakashi. This forces him to drop his book only for a moment to perform a jutsu that would stop this attack. Before he could recover, Naruto swings his katana, and Kakashi tries to catch it, but it still cuts him. He then flips away in confusion. He was sure that he grabbed the blade, but it still cut him somehow. Naruto was confused as well. Maybe only people who are like me can block this blade's power. Well, if that's the case, Naruto says while looking down at the blade, will you guide me? The blade starts to glow along with Naruto's spiritual energy that becomes present in this moment, and it continues to rise. Naruto grips the blade while looking at Kakashi from a distance. He takes one step and instantly appears in front of him, swinging the blade. Kakashi dodges while noticing how fast Naruto has become in just a short moment. But as he dodges, Sasuke throws a punch towards him that lands. To the shock of both of them, their sensei then turns into a log. Sasuke wonders where he went, but Naruto closes his eyes as he would then focus on Kakashi's presence as he could still sense it. He opens his eyes and swings the blade at the ground, and it splits. This causes Kakashi to jump out to avoid the attack. Naruto is stronger than I originally thought. His speed is that of a high Chunin, and Sasuke on the other hand is a great tactician. He waits for the right moment, and he attacks each time without fail. However, Sakura, wherever she is, seems to be far behind these two, and is holding them back. Naruto's spiritual pressure begins to rise even more as he talks to his blade. Tell me something. Can you help me win? I have a feeling you're much stronger than me. So, lend me as much power as you think I can handle." As Naruto's power explodes, Sasuke and Sakura fall to the ground from the pressure, and Kakashi would fall to one knee before managing to stand back up. Sasuke looks at Naruto, wondering how he was able to do this, and where did this hidden power come from? Naruto appears behind Kakashi and smiles, as he would then be holding the bells, as he tosses one over to Sasuke, who is on the ground, and then he passes out while holding the other in his palm. Naruto wakes up in his apartment with the third Hokage holding his sword. There's no reason to hide it from you any longer, as you will figure it out on your own. Naruto, your father was the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Naruto's eyes widen in shock, but then he sees the books that are on the table in front of him. He's confused by this. Each of these books were written by him for you. I've tried to read them myself, but I cannot see the text within them. These books will help you master what your father has left for you. You mean my blade? Not only that, but something that's within you that I cannot help you with. Hiruzen leaves the room, and Naruto opens the first book to see that it was blank, as Hiruzen had stated. Naruto thinks about it and how he would be able to see it, but then he focuses on his shinigami powers, and the first page appears, as it's a letter that would read, "Naruto, my son, if you are reading this, that means I am no longer alive to teach you, and I'm sorry for that. You are different from those around you, and I'm sure you've realized it by now. Naruto, you are what is known, well, I can say that you are half Shinigami, as I did not come from this world. I am from a place known as a Soul Society. I was once a Soul Reaper that defeated many enemies known as Hollows in my lifetime. Read the rest of this book to learn the history of where we come from and how your powers truly work. The blade that I have left you will bond with your soul now that I am gone. Learn its name, and the two of you will grow stronger than you can ever imagine together." Naruto finished the first book within 3 days, as he then joined his team on their missions, and at night, he trains by himself to master his blade. Since I'm a Shinigami, I have to get stronger, as I have a new dream. I not only want to learn about myself, well, my Shinigami side more, but I want to go to the Soul Society. Mozi Shadow Clone Jutsu. All the clones of Naruto appear around in the area, which means I have to grow stronger before I can go there. Each night, Naruto trains with hundreds of clones to master his blade. Unknowingly to him, this speeds up his training process a lot, but his blade still remains silent. However, he gains a pretty good grasp of how to access his Shinigami powers. Naruto by this time is fed up with the low-ranked missions, and he asks Kakashi if they could try a higher ranked one. The group then goes to the Hokage's office, where they would request for another mission. This is where they end up with the bridge builder Tazuna. Team 7 then leaves with Tazuna and begins their journey to the land of waves. Sasuke would continuously notice Naruto's blade and decide to ask him about it. "It was a gift from my father." Sasuke then seemed more interested in the blade because of how strong it made Naruto. If he was able to get his hands on it, he could defeat his elder brother. As they continued on the trail, Naruto could sense 2 other people near them, but he couldn't tell where they were. This is when from a puddle, they jumped out and killed Kakashi. Naruto in his anger grabbed his blade and protected Tazuna from the next attack. Sasuke then moved in and attacked one with Sakura behind him, as Naruto then swung his blade, cutting off the arm of the ninja, while Sasuke used taijutsu to take down the other one. Naruto then pointed the blade in the face of the shinobi. "Who sent you here?" The shinobi, after a while, would give Naruto the information. Sasuke would kill the shinobi who he had defeated and questions Naruto on why he didn't do the same. "There's no point for me to kill someone who is no longer a threat to me." Sasuke calls Naruto soft, but he ignores it. He tells Kakashi to come out of hiding. Their sensei walks out from the trees telling the team that they did well. This is when he begins to interrogate Tazuna. After a while, Naruto stops as he senses someone up ahead. The blade of Zabuza then comes flying at them as Naruto jumps over it while the rest of them duck. Kakashi then steps in front of his team to take on this battle alone. While the two of them have their battle, Naruto sits down to meditate with his blade. Naruto taps into his shinigami powers and actually enters the world of his shinigami. It was a jungle, but in this place he was able to communicate with his blade. "You've already helped me so much. I know we can become stronger together, but first we need to know each other. My name is Naruto. What about you?" Naruto turns around, feeling the spiritual energy coming from one direction within this jungle, as he can see the glowing eyes of an animal. "I've always been beside you, even before you were born. My name is..." Naruto's meditation is then broken by Sakura, who pushes him out of the way. Zabuza's clone almost killed him. "Thanks, Sakura." "No problem." But Naruto really wished that she would have waited at least one more second, as he would have heard the name of his blade. He then stands up. "It doesn't matter. I can learn the name later. So what's the plan, Sasuke?" "It's simple, you idiot. Take down the clone and free our sensei." "That works for me." Naruto and Sasuke rush in at the same time at the clone of Zabuza. As Naruto clashes blades with him, Sasuke cuts it with the kunai. Naruto then turns around and slices the clone in half. He then flash steps to Kakashi, and he cuts off the hand of Zabuza that was imprisoning him. This frees the sensei, and Sasuke shoots a fireball at Zabuza, and without his other hand, he's unable to perform hand signs to do a jutsu, so he's scorched by the attack. He then has burn marks on his body, and he's barely able to stand, but then he's hit on his neck by Senbon and he's killed. Team 7 looks up in the trees to see a masked man who thanks him for doing the dirty work, and then he goes down to the body of Zabuza. Naruto tells the masked figure to wait, as he then closes his eyes. "I can sense it. He's still alive, just barely." Naruto grips his blade and jumps out towards the masked figure, but ice blocks his path, and by the time that Naruto gets past it, the two of them were gone. The group makes it to the home of Tazuna, where Kakashi would take a day to rest before teaching them how to walk on trees. Naruto already knew how to do this ability, so he went to train on his own. He would then continue to train until exhaustion, and he does so for the following days, as one day he wakes up late, as by now, his team was already at the bridge battling Zabuza and the masked figure. So, he had to move fast. First, he defeated the bandits that snuck into the home of Tazuna, and then, he ran off to the bridge. As Naruto arrived, he saw that Kakashi was handling Zabuza, just holding him off, enough so that Sasuke, or Naruto, could defeat the masked figure. Naruto then jumped within the crystal ice mirrors to help out Sasuke. The two of them are still overwhelmed by the speed of the attacks and which direction they're coming from. They wouldn't be able to dodge the next wave, so Naruto stepped in front of Sasuke, defending him from the needles. He then starts to tap into his shinigami, abilities, and as he does so, he hears the voice of his blade. Naruto, after hearing the name, would shout out, "Devour all in your path. Oni Kitsune." A blinding light emerges from Naruto and is condensed down into his new weapon, forming a slim dark aura around his body. Sasuke looks up to see Naruto standing in front of him with a blue and black scythe in his hand. Let's do this. Naruto swings a scythe, and the shockwaves from it destroy the mirrors around them with a powerful wind. He looks towards Haku and holds his scythe tighter. Naruto then flash steps right in front of him and swings it, cutting it across his chest, but the cut is a little shallow. Naruto then repeats this process over and over until Haku starts to notice how he feels out of energy and truly exhausted. So, it looks like you've noticed. Oni Kitsune takes the energy from those in its path and that comes into contact with. However, that's just the first ability that I learned. The second is to release that energy taken into a stronger attack. Black Fang. Naruto swings a scythe as he splits Haku in half and the ground, as Sasuke would look to be shocked that he split the ground somehow, but they were standing on a cement bridge. I need that blade to get revenge on my elder brother. I have to have that power, Sasuke would say to himself. Naruto then falls to one knee and coughs up blood, watching his blade revert to its katana form. Looks like I can't handle that power or that second ability just yet. Naruto gets back up with the help of Sakura as they watch Kakashi finish off Zabuza. Gato and his henchmen would arrive, but they would be scared off by the people of the town, as the bridge would be finished in the following days and would be named the Great Naruto Bridge. Team 7 then begins their journey back to the Leaf Village, and when they arrive, each of them would go their own separate way. Naruto goes back to his apartment to study the books that was left by his father, to figure out what else could he do. The next day, Kakashi calls a team meeting to discuss the Chunin exams. All of them agree to sign up and they do, and then each of them goes their separate ways once again. However, as Naruto made it deeper and deeper into a forest, he noticed someone was trailing him. Come out, Sasuke. I know you're there. Naruto, give me that blade. It's power. It's wasted on you. Alright, Sasuke. Take it. Naruto tosses the blade to Sasuke, as he then realizes it's just a regular katana. Sasuke would then try to say the name that he heard Naruto say on the bridge, but nothing would happen. It's instantly gone from his hands as Naruto stands above him in the trees. This blade is bonded to my soul and will only respond to me, as I am its only user. You'll have to find a different one, Sasuke. Naruto vanishes from the area, and days later, Team 7 meets up to take the Chunin exams. As they walk throughout the building, Sasuke gets attacked by Rock Lee and loses the fight. This is when they go to find the real testing room. Team 7 manages to pass the first part of the exams and moves on to the Forest of Death. As then Anko was explaining the rules, she was passing out the scrolls to each team as they headed in. Team 7 gets their scroll and rushes into the forest as Naruto tells his two teammates to follow him, as he senses a team not too far ahead. They catch up to this random team and take their scroll easily, as now Team 7 decides to rest for a little bit. After only 10 minutes, Naruto stands up and takes out his blade, alerting Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto jumps to the branch that they were standing on and pushes them out of the way, as he's then hit in his chest by a giant snake that drags him out of their sight. Naruto coughs up blood as he has the wind knocked out of him, as he then jumps into the trees above. Now, he performs a wind jutsu that cuts off the head of the serpent. Naruto senses where his teammates are as he sees that they're still in the same location, so he sprints that way, sensing someone else was also there. When he arrives, he sees that Sasuke is being bitten by a pale woman, and he looks for Sakura to see that she was already knocked out. Sasuke would then pass out as well, as Naruto jumps in to attack the pale woman, only to be hit in his stomach. Orochimaru increases the seal on the Nine Tails so that Naruto wouldn't be able to rely on its power even if he did get angry enough. However, this Naruto was also smart, as he made shadow clones that took Sasuke and Sakura towards the tower, as they already had their scroll. We can't hold back in this fight. This guy's strong. So come out and devour him. Oni Kitsune. The black and blue weapon piques the interest of the Sannin. He jumps out at the boy, but Naruto vanishes and strikes him in his side. Naruto then continues to outpace him and lands several attacks and slashes around his body, without even knowing it, due to the seal that he put on Naruto's tailed beast, or the seal that he strengthened. Orochimaru boosted Naruto's control over his shinigami powers. Orochimaru sneaks up behind Naruto and he uses show number 1 to then point his finger and push him back. Naruto then releases the power stored within his sight, cutting off the arm of Orochimaru, as he did manage to dodge it, so he didn't get split in half. This caused the Sannin to then flee from the scene, not knowing what Naruto was truly capable of at this point. Naruto lets him go and puts the scythe back on his back, as he then reverts to his katana form, as he then sprints towards the clones and arrives to see Sasuke destroying each of them with the power of the curse mark. Naruto then gets an idea as he calls his blade one more time. He then stabs Sasuke in his shoulder, as the curse mark would revert to his base state and Sasuke falls unconscious again. Naruto would pick him up, as he and Sakura would make it to the tower with an unconscious Sasuke in only a day. The preliminary matches are still held, as the only match that changes is Naruto versus Kiba. This match begins, and Kiba is completely outmatched by Naruto in every category, leading to an easy win to Naruto, who didn't even have to draw his own blade. This is when the remaining participants are given time to train. Naruto trains on his own until he senses someone's watching him. He swings his blade and cuts down the trees in front of Jiraiya, who was hiding behind them. Impressive indeed, but you rely too heavily on your shinigami abilities. Don't forget, you are a shinobi as well. Who are you? Naruto questions. I am Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin, and your godfather, Naruto. Now come with me. We only have a month to train, so let's get started. Naruto is taken to Mount Miyaboku, where he begins his training. So Naruto, since we don't have much time, let's take the whole month to only master one ability. I want to teach you how to harness the power of the Nine Tails within your body. Jiraiya looks at the seal on Naruto's stomach and notices that it's been reinforced, but he's still able to open it up just a little bit. This causes Naruto to fall unconscious and wake up in front of a gate. He gets closer, as he then sees the Nine Tails, who approaches the gate as well. What do we have here? Another petty human coming to use my powers for their own selfish desires. Nothing has ever changed. Naruto looks at the fox, as it reminded him of what he saw when he talked to his blade. This causes Naruto to kneel, shocking the tailed beast. I know my desires may seem selfish to you, but I want you to at least listen to my words. I've learned that I'm gifted, but I'm also lucky to have these powers within me. I want to become stronger with these powers. However, I know that isn't as easy as it seems, so that's why I'm asking you, the Nine Tails, to lend me whatever amount of power you think I deserve. Believe in me so that we can grow stronger together. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, the proud son of Minato Namikaze. I wish to know your name as well if you have one. You are very different from any other human I've interacted with before. Even if I wish to call you or what you say lies, I sense no malice in your words. Therefore I, Kurama, the Nine Tails, will bestow upon you a small fraction of my great power. Kurama sticks his claws through the cage and taps on Naruto's stomach where the seal is. Suddenly, an orange aura emerges from Naruto's body as he wakes up. Jiraiya is astonished that Naruto was able to gain this much power from the Nine Tails in their first encounter. What could he have said to the beast? Naruto makes the power vanish, and Jiraiya smiles, telling him that he's a prodigy just like his father. A month passes faster than the two realized, as Naruto would be running late. The first match for the Chunin exams was announced to be Neji versus Naruto, who wasn't there. Luckily, Naruto made it just in time for his fight, and told Neji he was sorry for the wait. The match begins as Naruto runs at Neji, but he jumps back, dodging the 360 palm rotation. Neji then goes on the offensive by activating his Byakugan. But this was strange. He looks at Naruto in complete confusion. What is he? All he could see was lines. There are no chakra points. They're just lines of chakra that go throughout his body. Even more than that, it's not just the chakra lines that are within Naruto's body. It seems he has 3 sources of chakra to Neji, as he can see that when he looks at Naruto's stomach. And one layer was a very chaotic one that guarded his chakra lines, which was very strange. There's nothing for him to close. Even if he was to land a direct hit, he's not sure he could get past that thick chakra barrier that protects the lines. But this was all due to Naruto's genetics. Neji, in his confusion, is struck by Naruto, who sends him flying into the wall. Neji then gets back up in his stance, and Naruto wants to use his blade, but he decides to rely on what he was taught by Jiraiya. Naruto jumps at Neji and throws an explosive kunai at his shoe. Neji manages to take off his shoe right before it explodes, but then he's kicked by Naruto. Each hit after this was unpredictable due to Naruto's speed. Neji then managed to land a counterattack as he hits Naruto in his stomach. However, this Naruto vanishes in smoke as the real one comes from underground and punches Neji with an uppercut. This would knock out Neji and win Naruto the match. The rest of the matches would then go the same, leading to the attack on Konoha by the Grass Village and the Sand Village. Naruto runs off after Sakura and Sasuke, but when he catches up with them, he sees Sasuke about to be killed. Naruto steps in the way and uses his blade to cut through the sand, as Naruto grabs the head of Gaara and drags him away from his teammate so that they could fight without Sasuke getting injured. Naruto then blitzed Gaara, who was trying to transform, but he was then knocked out. The fight was over when Naruto entered the battlefield. The third Hokage would still be killed, losing his life, as this would sadden Naruto more than it did in the original. But this leads to Naruto and Jiraiya going out to get Tsunade, as much of this short arc would go the same with Naruto learning the Rasengan. So now, this would lead to the Sasuke retrieval arc where only one thing would change. When Naruto finally catches up to Sasuke, he goes all out, using the power that he was given by the Nine Tails. Naruto jumps forward on all fours and kicks Sasuke in his chest. After this, he throws a monstrous amount of rapid attacks that Sasuke is kept on the defensive by. Even though he was in the second stage of the curse mark, Naruto still seemed stronger than him, which angered him even more. Naruto, with the power of the Nine Tails, pulls out his sword and continued to fight Sasuke. As he does this, Kabuto and more reinforcements from the Grass Village would arrive to make sure that Sasuke makes it to Orochimaru. By the time that Naruto cuts down all of his opponents, Sasuke and Kabuto were gone. The Sasuke retrieval squad returns empty-handed, and Naruto is the most upset. Jiraiya then tells him that they are leaving the Leaf Village so that Naruto can complete his ninja and shinigami training. This 3-year time skip is completely different from the one in the original, as Naruto and Jiraiya stayed in Mount Miyaboku for all 3 years. Naruto learns many offensive and defensive Kido spells, as well as getting stronger with Oni Kitsune. It takes Naruto 2 years to achieve bankai, as he would use a tool left to Jiraiya from Minato. It was a prototype of the tool that Urahara made to achieve his own bankai. But we'll get more into Naruto's bankai when it actually appears for the first time, or the second or third time you could say. Naruto also gains more power from the Nine Tails as well as Sage Mode. Naruto also completes Minato's goal of combining a chakra nature with the Rasengan, as he created the Rasen Shuriken way earlier than he did in the original. Naruto leaves Mount Miyaboku with Jiraiya and returns to the Leaf Village. As Naruto stands over the Leaf Village in mid-air, he smiles while falling to the ground. He goes to the office of Tsunade and hands her his headband. What is the meaning of this, Naruto? I am no longer shinobi, but I remain on the side of the Leaf Village. I'm going to defeat the Akatsuki, one by one, alone. Naruto disappears from the Leaf Village that night, as no one could stop him, even if they tried, and Tsunade ordered Jiraiya to go after him. Her old friend then explains that even if they gathered an army, they wouldn't be able to bring Naruto back to the Leaf. That's how strong he has become. Days later, within the Sand Village, they're attacked by Sasori and Deidara. But as they try to escape the village with Gaara, Naruto cuts down the bird from the sky as Gaara begins to fall and is caught by Naruto. Deidara demands to know who he is, but Sasori quotes Itachi's description of the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. From their sight, Naruto vanishes and reappears on the battlefield, this time without Gaara. Let's end this quickly. I have more of you to hunt down. Sasori tries to move, but the blade of Naruto splits him in half as Deidara uses explosions to create clay birds as he then tries to fly away. Naruto turns around to see all of Sasori's puppets behind him. Devour them all, Oni Kitsune. A darkness surrounds Naruto as the black and blue scythe appears once again. Naruto turns to Deidara in the sky and swings it, releasing a wave of dark energy that cuts him in half. Naruto then tilts his head back to see the army of puppets behind him. It's almost amusing that you think that'll be enough to defeat me. The puppet would then attack Naruto, or one of them, but Naruto dodged and stabbed his hand through its chest. However, the puppet isn't a living being, so it still tried to move and pierce Naruto's chest, but the hand of the puppet will be broken. Looks like you're too weak to do any damage to me. Naruto tears the puppets to shreds and defeats Sasori's other puppets as well. On his way back to the Sand Village, he finds Kankuro on the ground, so he picks him up and takes him back as well. Gaara wakes up and sees Naruto in the room, thanking him. Don't mention it. Send one of your shinobi to the Leaf Village and tell them to send a medical ninja here to heal him from the poison. All I could do was delay the effects of it, so I bought him some more time. Gaara nods but questions where Naruto was heading off to. I'm going to hunt down the rest of them, of course. What else? Naruto departs from the sand after resting for a couple hours as he continues on his journey. The Leaf Village gets word that 2 Akatsuki members are in the Land of Fire, so Tsunade sends her shinobi to that location. Team Azuma and Kakashi, including Jiraiya, were on the scene. However, when they arrived, they saw that one Akatsuki member was already defeated by Naruto, and the other was still fighting him. They wanted to join in, but Jiraiya stopped them and told them to watch. Naruto dodges the scythe of Hidan and swings his own. He then managed to cut him as he flipped away. It seems Oni Kitsune has taken a liking to your energy. Therefore, it's my job to help him devour it all. Naruto increases his speed to such a high degree that those without a dojutsu could not see his movements. With each strike, Naruto gets faster, stronger, and Hidan isn't able to stay standing as the spiritual pressure that was emitting off of Naruto was insane. Naruto cuts off the head of Hidan, who still managed to talk, as he takes it away from the body. The Leaf Shinobi who were there tied down the body as it was still alive, just very weak, as they waited for Naruto to then return. Sakura looked at Jiraiya and asked who Naruto was truly. There's no point in trying to hide it any longer. Naruto is not from this world at all. He belongs to another. But he promised to help out this world before returning to his own. Naruto sits down the head of Hidan and demands to know where the rest of the Akatsuki is. He refuses to give up that information, as expected, so Naruto buries the head far underground as he takes the body and puts it at the bottom of a lake as well. Naruto then discusses with Jiraiya, and his sensei gives him a possible location of Pain. He tells Naruto that he could be in the Hidden Rain Village, but he's not sure. Naruto then departs from the leaf once again, as he plans to end this all right now by finishing off the leader of the Akatsuki. It takes him a while to find the Hidden Rain Village, but when he does, Naruto sneaks in easily, but he's detected by Konoha. She descends from the sky with her paper wings, questioning Naruto who he was and why he was here. Before Naruto could answer, all the paths of pain jump down in front of him, causing him to jump back. Naruto takes out his blade and does the multi-shadow clone jutsu. He creates hundreds of clones that attack each path of pain, but eventually they are all defeated. Naruto appears again, this time in a perfected sage mode that was being amped by the power of the Nine Tails. Naruto blitzed the Ashura and the animal paths, destroying them first. The Diva path then uses the Rinnegan to send Naruto flying back, which is when the human path appears behind him, ready to attack. Naruto forms a Rasengan and slams it into the chest of this path, while also regaining his footing. Before he even realized it, the Naraka path had summoned the King of Hell, which restored the other paths of pain. So, I had to take you out first then. That shouldn't be a problem, even with all of you attacking me. Naruto then jumps towards the Naraka path to only have the Diva path pull him towards, himself, and shoot a chakra rod at him. Naruto reacts quickly, and, to the shock of the Diva path, he cuts through the chakra rod with his katana. What kind of blade is that? Naruto dodges the other paths of pain and cuts the Naraka path in half, destroying it. Alright, 1 down, 5 more to go. Naruto then takes down the animal path as well, and by this time he notices that his sage mode is beginning to fade away. So he decides to take this fight a little more seriously so he can end it quicker. Naruto stands on top of a building, and he shouts out the name of his blade, summoning the scythe. Soon after, dark energy begins to surge around the area and flows towards Naruto, completely covering his body, making it hard to see him. The Diva path could no longer, see him. And he was standing there in horror because of how potent this energy around Naruto had become. All he could hear was the voice of Naruto. It was calm, yet it was so menacing as he only said a couple words. Bankai. Oni Kitsune. The darkness around Naruto was then absorbed into his very being as he now stands in front of the remaining paths of pain and Konoha, looking completely different. So let's pause the story for a moment to explain Naruto's bankai. Oni Kitsune, or Demon Fox, is the name of Naruto's bankai when it's in its yin form. Within this form, Naruto's hair becomes black as his eyes turn a deeper blue. The Zanpakuto itself remains or it becomes jet black with no blue accents, but it remains a scythe. It has two special abilities or techniques. One is known as crowd control. Whatever comes into close proximity of the scythe has its spiritual energy taken, and that energy is transferred into Naruto. The other ability is known as Shadow Fang. The scythe is able to cut the shadows of its opponents. However, no ability or technique comes without drawbacks. So, this bankai, of course, has its own. The transformation does not last that long, and when using Shadow Fang, the shadow of an opponent, well, it has to be visible, so it'll be pretty hard for Naruto to fight in the air if he's no longer able to see the shadow from the ground, or in a dark area. If Naruto uses Shadow Fang for too long, his shadow also becomes vulnerable to attacks from others. Now, let's continue. The Diva Path stares at Naruto in true fear because of the aura that surrounded him when he was in this form. It felt as if death was in his near future. The remaining paths of pain rush at Naruto, who cuts their shadow when they got close to him. The Diva Path is not excluded from this execution as well. Naruto then follows Konoha as she runs away to where Nagato's real body was, and he appears before them. Naruto kills Konoha, which angers Nagato, but he can't do anything to Naruto. Naruto would kill him as well, before falling to the ground and coughing up a lot of blood. His hair slowly reverts back to his yellow state, as his scythe would also go back to his original katana-like form. Looks like I can still only hold this form for 3 minutes. I have to keep training, but first, Naruto takes the eyes of Nagato and returns to the leaf. He has Tsunade seal them away in a place that only he can access. By this time, Sasuke had joined the Akatsuki and was making his way to capture the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki, as this would eventually lead to the Kage Summit, which Naruto goes with Tsunade to. Sasuke still appears here to take down Naruto, but he instantly realizes the difference between the two of them and how strong each of them has become. Sasuke attacks Naruto, but with the swing of his Shikai in its base state, Naruto releases a shockwave of energy that cuts the arm off of Sasuke. The masked figure then attacks Naruto, but he dodges and slits his throat using Shadow Fang in just a split second. Even if Obito is able to become intangible, he can't protect his shadow. Black Zetsu, who was present on the outside of the room, would be sealed by Naruto shortly after as well. Naruto would go and find the base of Orochimaru that was in shambles, but he recovers his research on the Reaper Death Seal. Months then go by as Naruto is able to perfectly replicate the jutsu and summon his father from the dead. Minato is shocked to see his son, but then he notices the blade, which causes him to smile. Naruto, why did you? There's no time to explain. I've read all your books, and I want to go find my uncle and then travel to the Soul Society. Another year and a couple months go by, as in the Bleach universe, we see Ichigo in his classroom. Rukia then gets an alert on her phone for a hollow, and the two of them leave the school and run to the location. When they arrive, they see a yellow-haired Soul Reaper with a scythe, watching the hollow fade away. Naruto turns, and he sees Ichigo in the same outfit as him. Rukia, who is this creep? Hey, I can hear you. I don't know, I've never seen him in the Soul Society. But be careful, Ichigo. He's strong. Naruto puts the scythe on his back, and he walks up to Ichigo. Since you're a Soul Reaper, can you tell me where Kisuke Urahara is? Rukia then pulls Ichigo back, as she would ask why Naruto wanted to see Urahara. Oh, that's right. Allow me to apologize as I haven't formally introduced myself. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and Urahara is my uncle.